Welcome back to the Daily Rundown with me, Dan Morfitt. So this is the part of the show where our guests can feel free to get something off their chests. It could be a rant, it could be a call to arms, or a chance to praise something great in their lives at the moment. They are back for their something to say. Red, this is your debut, so I think we're going to let Drew go first, just to show you how it's done.
How it's done.
Drew, what is your something to say?
I want to talk about sex.
Okay.
It's not a subject I'm overly familiar with myself, to be honest with you, but yeah, and we've got to be very careful with this story because it's embargoed and stuff, but there is a tabloid witch hunt just now about a celebrity couple that we cannot name who have put out a super injunction against newspapers in England and Wales from revealing their names, but it doesn't apply to Scotland, so it's in Scottish papers.
Why do the Scottish get to...
I don't quite know how it works, but it's all over the internet as well, so it's not particularly difficult to find out if it's true who this couple are. But the story is that they've had three-ways or whatever with other couples.
A menage a trois is probably a nicer way to say.
A catra, who knows? But the thing with it is that, you know, I particularly don't care about that. What bothers me, well, there's two things that bother me. The first thing is, if this couple had just owned it and said, yeah, fine, we have, so what, big deal. It's 2016. This would not even be a story and things would be a lot easier. But it's also the fact that there's still such a furor that this would even be a news story, that it is 2016. Why are we still so repressed about other people's sex exploits? It was, apparently, as far as I know, it's all been consensual, above board.
There's nothing wrong with it.
There's not really a story there, but it's been made so because we just seem to love the titillation of it, which is very hypocritical because God knows what other people that think this is a great story do behind their net curtains. But also, like I say, if this couple had just owned it, said, yeah, so what, we've done that, big deal.
They could have made a joke out of it, could have made light of it.
It would probably move things on further as well in a much more sort of like adult 2016 way.
Or if you're Kim Kardashian, the video gets released of it and we can all watch it.
Don't mention that.
At home.
Bum on a stick to me.
I try not to mention her name, but sometimes it has to be said on the day.
It's coming up far too much in this programme.
No, if you say it though 5 times, I believe her bottom does appear behind
Possibly.
you.
Yeah, well, it's always there somewhere in the background.
Reading about this super injunction and reading the headlines in a few newspapers, it's going, we are disgusted, we can't tell you, our loyal readers, what these people are up to in the privacy of their own bedroom. This is information that needs to be shared with the public.
It's just wound them up more. It's like, well, why, just own it. It's not that big. It's not a big deal at all.
It would have been a page 10 story at most, and you would have read it, and we can't even allude to who it is right now, but I think we all know who it is. Yeah. It's like, and what? You're right, it's 2016.
They'd get a lot more support as well by lots of other people saying, well, yeah, so what? I think most people probably do think that.
But isn't putting a super injunction or an embargo on anything, all it does is lead to gossip.
It does.
Bitching.
No one is whiter than white, so to do that suggests that they think they are, and no one's that. It's a naive thing to do. So it's just a frustrating set of scenarios, really, with that. But
so who's the bad guy in this situation for you, Drew? Is it...
There's no bad guy. I think it's probably embarrassment / ego / everything that brings all that to the forefront. But, you don't want to be winding up a tabloid.
Do you think this person should just have better advisors to say, it's not that big a deal? Don't spend... The only winner out of this that I can imagine is the lawyers putting together the super injunction. But it's really weird that you could be in Berwick and not know what's going on, go over the border, and it probably is page 17 news in the Scottish Star.
The story
or
is
the Daily Record.
The injunction is the story, not the actual reason for it now, and that's just made it something much bigger than it ever needed to be.
Didn't we have all the super injunctions about 4 or 5 years ago with who was having an affair with who, which footballer was doing this? And the press, Fleet Street as they like to call themselves because it sounds grand and great, they were going, this is our civil liberties, how dare you, we need to tell our loyal readers what they need to know. I don't know why everybody does that tabloid voice.
Yeah.
But in the end, it was just like, someone's having it away with somebody else. And
it seems very weird as well because we've had a lot of things in the past few months about freedom of speech, and I don't really see freedom of speech campaigners having a go at super injunctions because surely that is against freedom of speech.
Yeah.
But that, it never seems to be framed in that argument, and it totally should be.
Could it be part that our news media isn't our newspapers anymore? It's what we see on Twitter. It's what we see on Facebook and shared. We may all catch the odd news bulletin now and again, but it's not as if we're watching 24-hour news blindly, because it's just not that interesting.
Totally. So newspapers, the circulation's dropping as well now because we get our news from other sources. So, they're probably clutching at straws and a little bit desperate now because effectively they've lost the story, because if they do ever get the chance to publish it, we kind of all know.
Yeah. And that's the thing as well. They're going, we can't report this, but you can read it on the internet.
And it's a shame, because there must be some good journalists out there that are struggling work-wise because of the shift towards social media and like news reporting.
Well, it's another fading industry now. I mean, there used to be different journalists for every type of section: finance, art. Every aspect of everyday life now, there really isn't. It's almost like one size fits all editor.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of the comedy reviewers. Obviously, I'm a comedian, so this is close to my heart. But a lot of comedy reviewers across the country have lost their jobs because they don't see it as necessary or essential. Which now means that comedians across the country are being reviewed by the paper's gardening correspondent and stuff like that, and they don't understand
or volunteers.
Exactly. Yeah.
I think as well. We'll just move away from this subject in a bit, but if you go online, there are other avenues of journalism now opening up, and there's supposedly a story about a big cabinet minister with a woman who was also linked with someone in organised crime, but that's not being on the front pages. So, all you have to do is search out on the internet, and those stories will come up. Smelling of roses. Let's move on to our next story now. I don't want people to Google during the show or go on Alta Vista or Lycos and other search engines. God, I really am old.
Yeah,
Red.
I know what they are.
Was that?
AOL keyword. Red, what is your something to say? You've seen how Drew's done it?
Yeah, no, he smashed it, mate.
Smashed it.
Totally smashed it.
There we go.
Oh, yeah.
That's apparently what the young people do.
Down with it.
It's all in the cloud.
I have, this has been a thing that I've been annoyed at for a while. Basically, I work nights because I'm an event promoter and a comedian. So 6 nights a week, I'm sort of out performing. Don't get home till the early hours. And what's starting to annoy me is this discrimination against people who sort of work evening shifts and work later in the day. I don't know that many people, maybe because of my profession, that have the standard 9 to 5. But I woke up yesterday, I woke up on a Sunday the other week at 5 p.m. Now that is what I do because I work very, very late.
Songs of praise and country file.
Exactly.
Job done.
Yeah. No,
Then you're back to sleep again.
I was having a good night, but then I was like, I need to go and buy some eggs. So I've nipped out to Asda, and that closed at 5. So then I've nipped to Sainsbury's, and that closed at 5. And then I nipped to another Sainsbury's, and that closed at 5. So I couldn't get eggs. And I find it strange, because this is the 21st century. This is the age of on-demand television. We've got Netflix and 4OD and things like this. Other things are available.
On-demand eggs, I like the idea.
Yeah, well, exactly. It's ridiculous. The new Zac Efron movie is more readily available than milk.
We Are Your Friends, though, is
very
a terrible
similar.
movie. So why don't you get you're talking about Netflix, get the ultimate egg provider of a chicken. They had them in the 13th century. Yeah. If you want an egg at any time of day. Henflix.
Yeah.
And you don't even have to buy 6. You could just coerce the chicken into laying 1.
That's more chick flicks.
Oh, thank you very much.
If I didn't live in a 5th
You're supposed to be the comic, and Drew's just whooped you there.
I'm on my night off.
No, true. You volunteered for this.
You should get down the shops and get yourself some eggs, then they're still open.
Why were you so desperate for eggs?
I don't plan things very well at all. So I do.
I think we're now getting to the crux of the issue here.
But if someone who working 9 to 5 doesn't plan very well, they can still get up at 5 p.m. and go and get some eggs. But I can't get eggs.
The problem with you is, I think you're a low achiever. And if you're a high achiever, you'd recognise at the start of the week, I need eggs.
Definitely. But it's a lot of different things. I drive back via a lot of service stations. You can't get a burger after 9 p.m.
I do notice that.
Yeah.
You go past and you go, oh, chicken, oh, burger. You go in, it's dead.
Yeah.
And the best that you can do is a pasty. Yeah. As nice as they are, you don't want one. You want something hot.
Yeah, no, definitely. And then, trains as well. If I try and get a train back from a gig, I can get a train to a gig, can't get a train back from a gig. Everything, just stops.
Do you want it to be more like New York, a 24-hour environment.
Yeah, well, I know we spoke about this a little bit off camera about, you know, like, oh, well, you can't stretch the staff anymore. It's like, hire more people. People need work right now, you know? It's just, you know, I think people would buy things any time of the week.
Saying that, after last Thursday's daily rundown, I was a bit tired, but I thought, I'll go and do the big shop now. 24-hour big supermarket, went to it. It was like something out of Dawn of the Dead.
Yeah.
And I just had to get out of there. You were walking around and there's just boxes piled there. The produce at 2 o'clock in the morning looks less fresh than at 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah.
I don't know what they do, but
You don't go to supermarkets for the atmosphere. You're kind of just going there to get what you need.
I don't know. I'm a married man. I just go where I can to get the atmosphere now.
Why else would you shop at Waitrose?
Well, this is true.
Free coffee.
This is true.
They give you free coffee?
Yeah.
I'm going to
You
Waitrose.
get my Waitrose card, and there's
Waitrose still open? I think I might try and get
You can
one.
also get free coffee at Booths. That's another supermarket. Honestly, you haven't lived, my friend.
Where's the coffee machine in Boots?
Booths.
Oh, right, okay.
Again, as I always have to say this, other supermarkets are available. Right, does everybody feel like a weight's been lifted?
Oh, definitely.
yes.
See, we're all refreshed now. Good. Because after the break, we'll be looking at some of the less serious stories of the day. So please, stick around for the last bits of the Daily Rundown. Bring eggs.